Hello everyone, I am here with a video, and this video is, you can see my book cart, but this video is my July wrap-up. Let's start this video off with a book that just got weirder and weirder, and I kind of lived for that, and that was Burn by Patrick Ness. I read this book in a day. My goal was to read it in 2 days because it's 2 parts, and I thought it was very fitting, but I read this in 1 day. Yeah, this book is about, it's set in America, 1950s, but it's an alternate world where there are dragons, and it basically follows a girl named Sarah Dewhurst who, she is half black, half white, which is really hard during this time because there are a lot of small-minded people that are really just making life hard for her. And her farm, and she lives in a farm, and it's going down. And the last resort is to hire a dragon. And she basically does this, and then there's a lot of other stuff that happens. It's really hard to give a cohesive review of this just because it is one of the weirdest books I think I've ever read. It's like part 1 is like the synopsis, and part 2 is just something that you had no idea was going to happen. And yeah, I gave this 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I don't think it was the best book ever, just because I think the first part I was really loving, and the second part it really diverged because I really thought that the second part was kind of like a little pointless to me, and I didn't really see the significance. But overall, I did enjoy this, and I gave it 4 stars, and I would highly recommend for someone who really doesn't know, like really didn't know what was going on. Really doesn't know, really likes dragons and American history. The next book that I read was finished an audiobook that I started in June, and that was The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the 4th and final book in the Raven Cycle quartet, and I did really enjoy this one. This series has been a very enjoyable read, and yeah, so I gave this one 4 stars. This basically follows 5 characters. One is a girl named Blue who has been told her entire life that she will kill her true love, and the other 4 are the Raven Boys, who are on a quest to find this great Welsh king named Glendower. So yeah, that's basically the story, and I do enjoy these books, but they don't really hit the whole home run for me. I do enjoy the concept, I do enjoy the characters, I just don't have the biggest connection with it that everyone else does. But I did enjoy this one, and I gave it 4 stars. And the next book that I read was a Kindle book, and that was I Killed Zoe Spanos by, as you'll see for pattern, I really don't know the names of authors of audiobooks and Kindle books, just because unless like I've read it's like the 5th one I've read for that author, or it's, yeah. But this basically, I Killed Zoe Spanos basically follows a girl, I forgot the girl's name, and it's during summer, and she is working as a nanny for this really wealthy family in Long Island, and it basically kind of follows, and also is about this girl named Zoe Spanos who went missing January 1st, and the girl kind of has something to do with Zoe's disappearance. And this was a very captivating book. I saw that it was not a retelling, but it was based on Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and I haven't read Rebecca, but I really did enjoy this one. It was just very full of twists and turns, and it was very psychological, which I ate up so much, and this was such a really good book, and yeah, I gave this 4.5 stars. The next book that I read was an audiobook, and this was Dragon Pearl by Yoon Ha Lee, and this basically follows a girl, I forgot her name, who is a fox, who's a gumiho in this world. Like, there are 1,000 worlds really, and her brother basically goes, I did enjoy this one, but I just don't remember a lot about it. It wasn't that very significant, but I know I enjoyed it, mostly because it wasn't very significant, mostly because I listened to it in one sitting during our road trip to Charlotte, North Carolina. And yeah, but overall I did enjoy it, and I gave it 3.5 stars. The next book that I read was a physical book, and that was Frankly in Love by David Yoon. And this is a book that was very, very not publicized, but very, very spread through the booktube community in 2019 when it came out. And this basically follows, not basically, but this follows a boy named Frank Lee, who is a Korean American boy who ends up falling for a white girl named Britt. But that is a problem because his parents only want him to date a Korean girl. So he strikes up a proposition with another girl named Joy Song, and they start fake dating in order to date the people they really want. And this had much more deeper themes than I thought it would. It had themes of family, of all this stuff that was just like such much more than I came in for, and I actually really did enjoy this. I did not think I would enjoy it as much, but I really did, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. The next book that I listened to as audiobook was Faith by Julie Murphy, and this is one of my favorite books of this month and maybe 2020. And this follows a girl named Faith Herbert who is full of tragedy in her life, but she's a very optimistic person. Her parents have died of a car accident. Her grandmother has just recently diagnosed with dementia, but she lives with her grandmother, and she recently was tested on by a secret society to become a superhero with superpowers, and she can fly. So just lots of stuff, and she's basically dealing with the trauma of that, but she really is just like pushing it down, and you really get to see how every day she literally is cracking at the knowledge that this happened, and she's just trying to forget it, and it just won't let her. And this is a beautiful story of self-empowerment, and it was just so good, and yeah, I gave this one 5 stars. The next book that I read, which I also gave wrong one. And this was Akata Witch, which forgot the audio author. And this follows a girl who who's now living in Nigeria, even though she is now living in Nigeria, and she doesn't have a lot of friends because she is albino and she is seen as an outcast. But she discovers this magical community which she is a part of, and she basically discovers this, and it was it was a very enjoyable read. I don't really know a lot about it just because, again, this was I listened to this in a full sitting, and yeah, I did really enjoy it, and I gave it 4 stars. The next book that I read was I'll Be the One by Lila Lee, and this is about a girl named Sky this is actually my favorite book of the month, and this follows, which is weird because it's a contemporary, but this follows a girl named Sky who, her entire life she has loved to dance and sing, and she competes in this K-pop competition, but she's having a lot of roadblocks, mostly because people are thinking of her size, and I just thought it was so empowering, and I tapped so many things. And there was one where that just really hurt me because because one of the judges literally told Sky that her weight was unprofessional. And I just thought this was such a beautiful look on yeah, I really didn't love this, and I gave this 5 stars. The next book I read, and one of the 3-star books I read, was, I wish I loved this so much more, but that was A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. And yeah, this follows 2 girls, Tavia and Effie. Tavia, who is a siren, and Effie has a lot of stuff that's going on. And I really wanted to love this. This has a lot of great narratives on sisterhood, friendship, Black Lives Matter, feminism, just so much stuff that was thing, but it's set in like a magical setting, and it kind of just not derailed, but the ending with Effie turns out to be something magical, which is kind of, this is a spoiler, but not really. And I just really did not see the significance. I really did not see why were we supposed to be like, oh my gosh. It just all was very, yeah. But I thought this was an okay book. I did enjoy what Bethany C. Morrow was saying, and I gave this 3 stars. The next book I read, which my last 5-star, and that was Girl, Serpent, Thorn by Melissa Barstjuice. And this is basically about a girl who's cursed to be poisonous from the touch, and it just goes it's such a beautiful fairy tale about what it really is to be powerful, what it really is to be a monster, what it really is to be a princess. And it has so many beautiful things. It has demons. I think this is like a better Cruel Prince retelling. And yeah, not retelling, but a better Cruel Prince, in my opinion, with demons and not fairies. Yeah, I love this one. 5 stars. The next book I read, which I was surprisingly really enjoyed, and that was Death Note, Volume 1 by Sugumi Oba and Takeshi Obata. Sorry if I'm botching those names. And this is basically, I've said this a lot, and it's about a boy who has a death note, and whenever a person he writes in his name they die. It just goes, and it becomes a thriller, but also not really. It becomes just so dark and psychological, and yeah, I give this 4.5 stars. Definitely really, really good, and not kind of surprising because I thought this was just one-dimensional, but it just turned out so much more. The next book I read, which was kind of a disappointment, was Romanov, and yeah, I don't really know a lot about this. It didn't really stick, but this follows, it's an Anastasia retelling, and yeah, I gave this 3 stars. It was not for me. I preferred Blood Air, but yeah, I don't really want to talk about it. Yeah, next book. The next book I read in July was The Girl Who Could Not Dream by Sarah Beth Durst. And this is a reread, and this follows a girl who never dreams, but her family owns a dream shop, and yeah. And they get captured, and it's just so good. It was so nostalgic, and it felt like a trendy Instagram account. And I just thought it was so good, and yeah, I gave this 4.5 stars. The next book I read, which started the series, is The Gunslinger, Volume 1 of the Dark Tower, and this, yeah, and I gave this 3.5 stars. The next book I read was Spark by Sarah Beth Durst, and this follows a girl who has a magical creature that can control the weather and the society, and yeah. And I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a very interesting look on, yeah, on not just life, but on, like, controlling power. Yeah. And I gave that one 4.5 stars, and I read this on Kindle. So, yeah. That is all of the books I've read in July.